Okay, as is the nature of these videos, we're just gonna move right on to the very next one here. I just did the follow-up review for the Civivi Lazar liner, and as I said, I'm going to be moving into a Crescent, I guess it's a Crescent tool knife. I also purchased this off of Wish along with some other of the Benchmade clones that I had bought. I did have somebody ask me why I keep buying knives from Wish and things like that. And the only answers that I can come up with are, I know essentially how a Benchmade is going to function. I've owned a couple, and I know how ZTs are going to function. I have also owned a couple of those. I don't really feel like there's a big mystery in how a knife like that's going to perform, since they are designed with the choicest materials, and they are built, put together, and created to a very, very strict specification of what a high functioning knife, high value knife should function as. So when I look at a Benchmade, I know I'm going to get something that works better than my expectations. When I look at a ZT, I know I'm going to get something that works better than my specifications. I feel like I'm a little bit more interested in how a clone knife is going to function, how a tool knife bought from essentially a worldwide distribution platform that, claims to have well-designed clones, well-designed functioning knives that aren't bought at the name brand headquarters. I'm more interested to see how those are going to play out, to see if they're going to hold up, to see if there's going to be severe flaws or problems with them. Because I know people buying a Benchmade know what they're buying for. I know people buying a ZT know what they're buying for, but people who can't afford $300-400 knives, like that ZT I chipped the blade on last month, I guess you'd say, people don't want to experience that. So they're going to probably spend, this cost $24 shipping and handling included. It only took about a month to get to my house. Actually, it might have even been less than that. But people are going to spend $24 on a knife like this, so they don't have to worry about wrecking $300 or $400 knife. So, I will continue to do those expensive knives, especially ones that I don't know, that I've never used before, because there's a lot of unknown to that I'd still like to figure out. But I also think people on the ground level, like myself, prefer not to bust up high-end knives. They'd rather break up a knife that came in at $24, even if it is a clone. So I still have a lot of these clone knives I'm going to be doing, and today this isn't a clone, this is an actual tool knife. It's packaged and everything with the actual package it comes with. This is an actual distributed knife from Crescent. I looked it up, I checked the specs on everything, and it's in the proper package. If you scan that barcode, it comes up as a Crescent tool knife. So we're going to do this today. Just because I've had this for a while now, and I'm tired of looking at it in my little knife bank over here, and I just want to get it done and out of the way. So I'm going to use the Civivi Lazar liner to open this knife. You can see the way this cuts. It gets in there real good, but there's a drag. There's always a drag once you get past the first cut, and this was the Civivi. Just a little bit more emphasis. This knife video isn't a knife video about the Civivi. It's going to be about the Crescent, but just in case you saw my last video. Okay, right out of the box, the Crescent tool knife comes here with a little knife tip protector, which is pretty common with knives. This is a spear point knife, which I actually kind of like that, because part of my business is puncturing used chemical containers after flushing them repeatedly, so there's no product left in them that can harm anything. But I puncture the containers so nobody can use them and potentially poison themselves, and this is a great tip for that. So right out of the bag, aesthetically, I like this knife. This knife is looking like I'm going to get some good use out of it. So that's a good plus for me right out of the bag. The size of it, this is a good knife. Look how that fits there in between my fingers, how it fits there in my palm. I'm happy with the length of the blade. I'm happy with the width of this handle here. Makes gripping real easy. And that clip is a little bit more low profile. It's not sticking up like that big. I almost I almost don't even feel it when I'm putting my hand over it. But what I do feel is it's actually kind of giving me a little bit extra grip here to prevent sliding off the handle. So, you know, I mean, I don't know. I think that's a great construction for this little knife here. The weight of it, it's got a good weight. I wouldn't say it's like really balanced. This never seems to work for me right anymore, balancing this on my fingers, but you right below the fulcrum where the blade closes, I feel like it's got a good weight to it. I feel like in my hand this is going to be good. It's not going to be too light on me. I'm not going to accidentally flip it out anywhere. It's not going to be too heavy. I'm not going to drop it too much. So I haven't closed it yet. We're going to check that out real quick. So I have engaged the release and it's not moving at all. So right out the gate, it's pretty stiff, and I'm thinking the more I use it over time, probably loosen up. Hopefully it doesn't get too loose, and I have to find myself retightening it every week like I did that other clone that we had. But it feels sturdy. It doesn't feel like there's any wobble. Doesn't feel like there's any give. The blade doesn't jiggle. It feels like, I mean, look how far over that lock lever goes, man. That blade shouldn't be going anywhere if there's ever some sort of failure with that. That's right there, right in the middle of that blade base, which is pretty awesome. Sometimes I get some of these knives come in and that's like right on the edge, and I almost feel like I need to bend that over further to make it safer to use. So yeah, let me find my yellow sticky note pad so I can try the blade on this thing here. All right, so this is right out of the box. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad for a $24 knife. I did feel a little like you got to kind of get that blade going, and then once it gets going, it cuts pretty well. I almost feel like I'm getting more of a tear on it as I'm pulling. And if you look, I don't know if you can see this, but if you look here at the sharpening of that, that's a very, I don't know if you can see that. It's a rough bevel, so it's not really like you can see the grain all through the sharpening on the bevel of the blade here. That makes it a little bit more of a rough pull through that paper. So again, though, it's a $24 tool knife from Crescent. I'm not expecting a high-end blade, but still, I would have preferred to see a better bevel on that, because it gripped the paper. So pulling it through wasn't smooth. I did feel some gripping of the paper, and you can actually see the paper. I don't know if you can see that either. Very minutely pulled backwards towards the direction I was dragging the blade, which tells me this is probably going to get some drag on it when I'm cutting. So that'll definitely be something I need to look out for. Trying to see if there's any other signifying words on this. So this would be the Crescent Everyday Carry, and the model number is CPK35OA with the harpoon blade design, high strength aluminum handle, deep pocket clip, smooth action is what it says on this, but that action, it was tight. I wouldn't call it smooth yet. It might smoothen out as I'm opening it, but it was not smooth yet. It's supposed to be made of a heavy D2 steel, which I definitely feel the weight of that. That's a tool steel, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And that should hold an edge for a while, but we'll find out over the next few weeks. So we'll just get to my my rating here. Sturdiness, it is very sturdy, solid like a rock. It's like a brick house, this blade here. You could probably, you know, if you didn't want to stab somebody with it, you could probably fold it up and throw it at them. It's got some good weight to it. The size of it is a good size, right there in the sweet spot for knives for me. You know, it can be bigger. I'd be happy if it was a little bit bigger. I wouldn't go smaller with it. It is sharp, but like I said, it's a rough bevel sharpening on the blade, and so I did get drag just on the paper now, so I'll be interested to see how that works moving forward. The function, everything seems to be moving on it, functioning on it well, no wiggle, no wobble. You know, I will need to loosen this bit up here over time of use, and aesthetically it is a pleasing knife. That being said, some of my concerns are the blade, the way it's going to cut. Also, it is another bottom release right under the blade, so if there's an issue and I get my hand caught under there somehow, I'm gonna take some cuts to my hand, which I don't really want, but this thing is stiff enough as it is right now. I frankly don't see that even being a problem. So you know, take that as you would, and then we'll see how it holds up over the next few weeks. So right out of the gate, I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. It's a cheap tool knife made by Crescent. I bought it on Wish for $24. It's an official knife. It's a real knife. It's not a clone. Yeah, so tune in here in a couple weeks and I'll tell you how I liked it, and if it's worth buying for you if you're interested. Thank you.